Well, I think it's too early to say if it can be completely eradicated. Remember that unlike certain infectious diseases, we're talking about a disease which is really multifactorial. So we have to focus on the multiple root causes of cardiovascular events. So I think this requires really better cooperation, not only between patients and providers, but the healthcare sector, the commercial sector. That, for example, the people that food manufacturers in particular, and what they put in their products, and then how can the government help in all this, right? How can we promote legislation that can reduce, there's already been important legislation, for example, on getting rid of trans fats from the food supply, but how can we go further in terms of restricting the amount of, for example, salt that's that's added to processed foods, also the amounts of simple sugars, right? So this is a major cause of an epidemic. So we really need cooperation among really all sectors of society that have some impact into what are the root causes of these diseases. But I think certainly there is new data coming out on what can essentially be thought of as vaccines, such as one great example is the RNA interference therapy that actually targets PCSK9 production, and this therapy, if given twice in over a 3-month period, can keep someone's LDL cholesterol levels down by 40% for a whole year. So if we're able to do that, we could substantially reduce some of this residual risk of coronary heart disease by essentially what is the closest thing we have to a vaccine. So we're going to be seeing more and more of these, but I think we have to be cautious and realize that for example, in the case of this therapy, right, we're mainly targeting LDL cholesterol, and that's of course one extremely important risk factor. And some people feel that obviously it leads to plaque, which is essential to getting a cardiovascular disease event. So this will go a long ways. Certainly, these types of therapies can go a long ways towards eradicating heart disease. But of course, remember, it's multifactorial. We're not just talking about coronary heart disease, but other types of heart disease. We're talking about strokes, and we're also talking about heart failure, right? So we have multiple disease states with many different precursors. So we have to keep that in mind, and we need not only a very specific vaccine type approaches, but we also have to look much more broadly and focus on how can we integrate the different segments of society in better working together to eradicate this this continuing epidemic.